What is going on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, wherever you're watching this video? I know I haven't been live recently on the YouTube channel, but in today's video, it's very special, especially if you've been on my channel before. You know, I talk a lot about relocation to the city of Chicago, Chicago suburbs, or what it's like living, playing, and everything else in between. But in today's video, this is for all my Chicago people that live in the Chicago suburbs that have thoughts about relocating to Madison, Wisconsin, whether for full-time play or just to get a lake house. And I have a special guest, a good colleague of mine that is an awesome real estate broker with Keller Williams. Mari, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks, Brandon. I'm fantastic. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to you.
No, I'm super excited because I know a lot of family friends of mine and just a lot of colleagues and everything like that. They have their own personal lake houses just in the Midwest in general, and then always just kind of wondering, but who is Mari? If you want to tell the people who you are.
Yeah, I moved to Madison about 12 years ago now. And something I first noticed is that all my friends have lake houses. So lake houses here typically get passed down from generation to generation. And that's one thing I felt left out of. I didn't have that lake house through the family. I have two sons, and they're little guys, and they're kind of my why of why I work really hard and do this. I love supporting them, and I love supporting the other families here. Let's see, I have a team here, and we are a team of 7 females, rock stars, and we help, this year we helped 128 families find homes. Cool. Yeah. Personally, I do about 45 sales a year, but the team is around 130. And we are from Castle Rock Lake, specifically for lake homes. We go from Castle Rock Lake, which is about an hour and a half north of Madison, down to really like the Janesville area. So we hit a very big radius.
Cool. That's perfect. Yeah. And then everyone that's watching, if you guys have any questions for Mari and I, whether it's just, Chicago suburbs, Madison, Wisconsin, or just anything real estate in general, we'll be happy to answer them on here as well for you guys. But Mari, do you help a lot of people from the Chicagoland area? Do they typically just come look for lake houses, or are they going there for like full-on relocation? Because personally for me, if I'm moving to the Midwest, I mean, Chicago's the best city in the world. I'm going to Chicago. I'm not going to go to Wisconsin.
I disagree.
I'm not going to Wisconsin to root for the Packers. I'm not going to Wisconsin to root for the Packers. But no, what do people usually look for?
Yeah, if people are coming from Chicago, it's really a mix, but I would say a lot more it's for pleasure, for the secondary home. We have had people, especially during pandemic, who just wanted out of the city and wanted a little more space, wanted a little more suburbia. And then the other 50%, really, it's the lake house. They want to be within that 4-hour limit of a drive, and it hits perfectly in the Madison surrounding area. So it's the perfect destination for people from Chicago.
Okay. How far is the drive from Chicago to Madison? Do you know that off the top of your
head? From airport Chicago, it's 2 hours. Downtown Chicago, traffic, it's could be 4 hours if you wanted it, but
how many lakes, or like if someone was looking for a lake house in kind of the Madison, Wisconsin area, like what are kind of the options in terms of lakes? Like what are the surrounding bodies of water over there?
So the first thing I would say is there are hundreds of lakes in Wisconsin. And so Madison specific, we have a chain of 4 lakes, and those flow together. And some people really desire to be on that, but then there's many different options if you want like an offshoot. So starting from Castle Rock, Petenwell Lake, those are 2 of the biggest lakes in Wisconsin. Then down by us, we have the 4, but then west, there's a really popular lake that is about an hour and a half. And then if you keep going south, there's even more like Lake Kegonsa, or not, Lake Koshkonong, sorry. They're all similar names. And so I think if you're looking for a lake, there's a lot of different options, and that's why it's really about your why. Like, why are you looking for a lake house? What's kind of driving you to seek it? Is it do you want a rec lake? Do you want it to be peaceful and quiet? Do you want there to be a restaurant on the lake? That's so depending on what your desire or what's your why, then that's kind of where the focus starts.
For sure. No, that makes sense. And then I just want to reiterate one more thing to all 12, 15 people that are watching this video right now. Ask questions, because I need more questions to ask Mari. And, we're here, real estate market, Madison, Wisconsin, lake houses, Chicago, anything that you want to ask, just drop them down in the comments. But if someone was looking for a lake house, but obviously didn't know where to start, looking for their why, what are some tips, or what are some of the things that you find that are kind of, correlate and kind of like the common answer to why someone wants a lake house around you?
So like I said, we start with the why. We sit down, just like in any other buyer appointment, we have a buyer consult and figure out what is driving them to want to do this. And I really think the size of lake, so acreage, are you looking for a rec lake that you can have a boat? Are you looking for the distance from your home? Is that important? Because then we're just doing a radius and showing you what's there, and then we can kind of beat that down. But figuring out the why, that gives me kind of a start of what lakes do I think would fit for them. Okay. Then I do a circle around where they're looking, and I do a lot of research on the DNR website to figure out specifically what they need. So some people care about a fishing lake, and so water clarity, sometimes a lake that is too clear isn't actually good for a fishery, because fish like to hide in different spots. So again, figuring out the why of what they're looking for in the lake is most important. The DNR is the best tool because it gives you all the information that you're looking for. And they also have like an alderman or like a lake person that can answer questions. So I'm very research-based. So anytime someone has questions, I dive really deep into what they need and give them the information so that they can make a decision regarding the lake and understanding that it's a good fit for them.
Right. No, that makes sense. I have a question right here. William Piotrowski says, what comes with the property? But I think you kind of answered that for the most part. What would you say is kind of like the average price point, or like what's the typical average price point, and like what's the average price point? Look, is that like a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, or like what's kind of like the average there that you're seeing?
So it really is lake specific. So Mendota and Monona are the two most popular lakes in our area. It is really hard to get something under $1 million now.
Oh, wow.
And so that's kind of your starting point. It's hard to find something at $1 million. And what you're getting for that is like a typical home, like 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Obviously you want more bedrooms. You're going way up from there.
Right.
The big thing about a lake home isn't necessarily the property, it's the frontage. So the frontage is the cost that you're paying for, because that's the exposure to the lake. And there's a lot of factors that come into it. Some people don't know, but if there's a bunch of trees at the front of the property, you're not allowed to take those down. There are rules on how much, you're actually not allowed to take trees down for like 75 feet to the lake. You can trim them and, get your view a little bit better, but that's important too when you're looking at lots on a lake too, because there's going to be rules about what you can take down.
We have another question here from William. Dock slip, is this an extra cost for a buyer? Also, do they test the lake water on an inspection?
For dock slip, typically your property would have a pier and you would be responsible for taking your pier in and out. I think this is an important thing to talk about, because buying a lake home it's not just the cost of the lake home, right? You've got to pay someone to take the dock in and out. You've got to make sure that you have someone to manage your property. If you live in Chicago, what happens if there's a pipe that leaks? Do you have the vendors there to help you? So there's costs associated with a lake home, just more than just a regular home, right?
Right.
And then do they test lake water? So the lake water is tested from the city. So what I like about Lake Mendota is we have a research university, and they actually are on Lake Mendota, so they're testing it all the time. So we have that information available. You could probably get it tested, but it's not typically a part of our process.
Okay, cool. So Lake Mendota, so is it like a town, or like is it like close proximity to grocery stores, or like what's the proximity to, like, your just normal everyday day-to-day things, whether it be restaurants, gas station, grocery stores, and what's the proximity to downtown Madison?
So downtown Madison is an isthmus. And so if you look at a map, there are 2 lakes, and the isthmus goes right in between the 2 lakes. So if you're on Mendota, you're on the north side of the isthmus. Monona is the south. So the reason people love Mendota and Monona is because you're in the city, and the proximity to everything is right there. So the village of Shorewood is right on Lake Mendota. And that's why, so the village is separate from the city of Madison. So they have their own police station, they have their own elementary school, and there's a cost that's associated with that. It's a really tight-knit community, and there are only X amount of houses right on the shoreline of Lake Mendota. The other houses sit up more in a hill, and they have views, but they don't have the access. So Shorewood is probably one of the communities. And then on the other north side is Maple Bluff, which is also another community that's right on the water. Then there's miscellaneous homes that are like on the isthmus that are on the water. And then in Middleton, there's some other ones.
Do people live full-time in these lake houses, or like what's like the occupancy rate in terms of people living in lake houses and people just use them as vacation rentals? Because I know some questions I usually get is that, especially when people are relocating here, is that people typically want to know is like how owner occupied are places like this and stuff like that. So like what is it kind of like over there for like lake houses? Like, are they actually owner occupied for 365 days out of the year, or are you noticing more of that it's just more like a spring summer kind of thing?
So Mendota and Monona, I would say, are more owner occupied than all the other lakes around, because it is a community. You can live there, you're just living on the water and have a nice life there with your boat and everything, but you'll find a higher rate of occupancy there versus if you go to the outer lakes. Like Lake Wisconsin is the perfect example. It's only 30 minutes from Madison. It's what I think is the ideal location because you're 30 minutes, but there isn't as much city. There are people who owner occupy up there, but you'll find a lot more second homes. And it's easier to Airbnb, VRBO up there than it is in the city of Madison. Madison makes it a little more difficult. And that's one of the major questions I ask when someone's looking to buy one is, are you expecting to be able to rent this out? And do you understand the cost of renting this out? And so I would say that the outskirt lakes are more of your vacation ones. There are some properties, but it's really owner occupied.
Right. That makes sense. And then, like I said, I'm just going to reiterate one more time. If anyone has any questions about the market or anything like that, I know we have like 12 to 20 people here watching all at once typically. Just ask away. We're here to answer any question about the real estate market, Madison, Chicago suburbs, lake houses. But I'm going to share my screen right now because I saw this cool house when I was doing some research. I think it's on Lake Mendota.
What did you find? I'm curious.
What lake is this? Lake Mendota.
Okay.
All right. This house is $4 million. So,
it's so beautiful.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so just walk me through like what are your thoughts on this house? $4 billion. This is what you're getting. That view is incredible.
So this house is in one of the areas that we just talked about. That's very sought after. Can you just X out so I can see the map again? I believe it's in Shorewood, but I just want to be clear.
West of Shorewood Hills?
It's very west of Shorewood. So this is more Spring Harbor. And this home is right on the water. It's got amazing frontage. It's been updated. So that's the big thing that you'll see. If you go a little more north of Spring Harbor, you get into Middleton, and some of those homes just haven't been updated. This one has been renovated top to bottom. It's just gorgeous. And it's got so much frontage that you can see water from every window. I mean, the views are incredible. The updates are incredible. It's so modern, and it almost looks like it has a double lot. It's so big.
Yeah, is this kind of crazy? Is this like a rooftop right here, or what is this?
Well, it's a natural rooftop, so I don't think you can go on it, but I think it's just like the natural. I mean, they didn't skip any detail in here, and I love the open floor plan. The other thing to note is that it has a walkout basement, which is very, very rare when you're on water, because I don't know about Chicago, but we standard have basements, right? You do too?
Yep, same here.
So when you're closer to the water, it's harder to have a basement because you have major issues with flooding. So the fact that this one has been built in a way that they can have a freaking slide.
There's a slide.
It's so good. I mean, this would be, I don't think anyone's going to pay $4 million for an Airbnb, but how sick would that be if you rented this out for
an elevator too? It's incredible. Like, there's literally views from every single window here. I mean, wow, even they put the mirror right here. So every single time you look, you're going to have a view regardless. And even from the bathroom.
That is a huge thing when it comes to buying. Like, why wouldn't you want the views if you lived on the lake? That's the whole benefit. Even in the winter, it's gorgeous. So with the snow out there, but in the summer, you just can't beat it. And so I don't know exactly how much frontage this house has, but you can just tell it's very expansive. So I would say it's probably at least 75 feet, which is a great size. A lot of my clients want between 50 and 100 feet of frontage.
Okay.
And I mean, I would love this house. Maybe I'll buy it.
Yeah, this house is. You
want to go in on it with me?
Nah, I'm okay. I did say Chicago.
Yeah, I forgot you love Chicago.
No, this house. Oh my gosh, this lot's awesome.
Yeah, so backyard. The other thing to think about when you're buying a lake house is actually the space right on the water. Like, you have to maintain. It's kind of like a retaining wall, but for the water. And there's rules that you have to follow regarding the wall. And so some lake houses or some lakes don't have to have that. There's some lakes that are very aggressive with waves, like Castle Rock, Petenwell, and you have to, and Winnebago, more north, like by Fond du Lac. You have to be really careful that you have a really solid wall, because that starts eroding, and then the city gets mad at you too, because you have to follow all of their rules.
Right. So, no, that makes sense. Yeah, but then one more. Oh, we have some comments over here.
Oh, awesome! I like questions.
Any good deals in Madison?
Always.
Okay. Well, Mari, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you for Jojo Ventura over here? Because he's probably gonna reach out to you. He's always looking for rentals, flips, Airbnbs. He's a good family friend of ours. So I know you take really good care of him. But what is the easiest way to reach you?
So email mari@linholly.com. You can DM me on any social media platform. My tag, is that what you call it? My name is Mari Sells Madison. Easy to remember, MARI. Or my phone number, 805-234-4360. The big thing, I work with a lot of investors. A big thing is opportunity, right? So just like you, I follow Brandon. I love your granny specials. And so that's always the thing, finding those granny specials here. They're a little harder to find. We do have a lot of people relocating here. So, but cool. I can find you one.
Yep, anything is possible. But one more question is basically like, what are things to do in Madison? Because like I said, I mean, like if I'm in the Midwest, I'm coming to the Chicagoland area, like just being 30 minutes from the state of Chicago. We have the best food, the best sports. You know, the Bears are better than the Packers. We kind of have everything here. I mean, I guess I'll give it to you guys. You guys have great cheese curds.
We do.
You guys have great cheese curds, but we have good deep dish pizza, hot dogs, and everything else. And
we have Portillo's too. Just FYI, we have Portillo's.
The taste is better here, though.
Okay. We'll do a taste test. Next time you come up, we'll do a taste test.
That sounds good.
What to do in Madison. So Madison is ranked on top 10 lists, on like every top 10 list of best places to live. And the reason why is because of those 2 lakes. There's so many summer activities. The other thing is it's one of the top biking cities. There are bike paths everywhere. And when I first moved here, I lived on the Near East Side, and there's something called B-Cycle. It's a shared bike program. And I didn't ever use a car. I just took one B-Cycle. I'd go in, I'd meet my husband for lunch or whatnot, and I could get around the city just fine. Now with kids, I've moved more into the suburbs, and I don't use that as much, but I still bike everywhere because it's so easy. So because of the ease of biking, it just makes it a really lively summer, spring, fall town. We've got a really bustling, I think that's a old word to say, but we've got a really lively downtown. And it's a mix. We're a college town. So we have football. We also have a really good basketball and hockey team, male and female. And our volleyball team is or women's volleyball team is amazing this year and last year. So that kind of makes it just really lively all year round. And then we've got amazing chefs. So I know you said you have really good food down there. I was shocked at the food in just the chefs, the quality of the chefs here. We have one chef that's a Michelin star chef. I know you probably have a million, but we got our one. So I've been really impressed with the food scene. What else is there to do? I think Madison does a really good job of community engagement. And so during the summer, we have something called Concerts on the Square. You can bring your own alcohol, bring a picnic, and then they have live music on the Capitol Square. I love it. It like brings me so much joy every time it comes back. We do a client event there every year. And we have a really famous farmers market. So if you're ever going to come up on a Saturday, we can walk around. It takes about an hour to walk around through all the vendors. And it's just, like I said, I think whoever's in charge of the community involvement here does a really great job because there's always something to do.
That's awesome. And then, one more.
Everyone is so nice here. So
it's
I grew up. Yeah, I grew up in California, and then I lived in DC for 5 years, and I ended up here. And like the first week I was here, I was like, why is everyone smiling and waving to me? And it's just what we do. So Midwest nice.
It's the Midwest charm. It's pretty crazy, but no, I appreciate you coming on here to kind of share some wisdom on lake houses. I know it's going to help a lot of people, especially not just people that are watching this from my YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Facebook, but also colleagues of ours too. And then if anyone has any questions about buying, selling, or investing in real estate here in the Chicagoland area or Madison, Wisconsin, just reach out to us. And if you need to get connected anywhere else to buy a lake house or just anywhere to purchase, buy, sell, invest in real estate, Mari and I can have a great agent for you anywhere in the country. And we're always going to find someone that's going to treat you how we would treat you. And then any final thoughts? If you want to leave your contact info one more time so people know how to reach you.
Absolutely. My name is Mari Slobounov, and it's Mari at lynnholley, lynnholley.com, or at Mari Sells Madison on any social media platform.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate
you.
Thank you.
You're the best. I appreciate you.
And I will see everyone on the next live.